So let me actually answer your question with a story. So when we started the soul searching process to figure out what it is that we can actually sell, we actually went and met the main agency for Coca-Cola in the US, which is based in New York. And we told them, look, you guys, we have the largest network of Muslim consumers around the world. Why Coca-Cola spends $1 billion every year on multicultural advertising in the US alone. But not much of that budget actually goes to attracting Muslim consumers to buy Coca-Cola products. So we were just telling them, look, this is nothing new that you're doing. This is just a new segment that you are completely forgetting about that could actually buy. And here's the data. It shows that they are more educated, they are richer than the average American, so why aren't you targeting them? And they actually, their answer was very, very eye-opening. They told us that the reason why we're not targeting this community is not because we're not interested in it, because money is money. We aren't targeting this community because we don't understand enough about it. We have been exploring the Hispanic, African American, and Asian markets for the last 15, 20 years. So we know what pushes their buttons. We know what kind of consumers they are, what of our products are their favorites, and their income brackets and all that. We know absolutely nothing about Muslim consumers. And that was a eureka moment for us, because we said, okay, this is information that isn't public domain. In the Hispanic, African American, Asian, some of that information is public domain. So you can start tapping into that knowledge right away, and then basically creating campaigns and creating products that appeal to these markets. But that is not the case with our community. So we had to kind of come up with an entry-level product that actually helps those companies understand the market. And because it wasn't information that that everyone can get their hands on, it was actually worth paying for. So we basically said that, okay, if we are going to, by that time it became clearer and clearer that the way forward for our company in the short term was not going to be through hundreds or thousands of small advertisers or small clients all around the world. That wasn't going to be a reality in the short term. So it became clear to us that we have to focus on a few key customers that give us big enough accounts so that we can kind of satisfy our commercial needs at the moment and basically grow the company. So because the sales cycle, we can't actually, when we are opening a new market, we can't go to just the agencies and say, hey, by the way, go to your clients and open their eyes on this new market, because agencies don't do that. Agencies tap into, demand-side platforms and stuff like that, where the budgets are already set and they're, 6 to 12 months before the campaigns are executed. They already know exactly where the money is going to go. And not many of those agencies actually have budgets to be spent on Muslim consumers. So it became clear to us that we would have to go to the leadership of those global brands and to basically convince them that, hey, it would be really unwise to let your competitors run away with this segment that no one is tapping into. And this, of course, means that there is a long sales cycle, and it is not very easy to tap into those deals. But once we have sold to a company, we want repetition of business. We want to take them through all of the steps that they go through as their gateway partner entering this market, all the way till the point where they're buying, making media buys of advertising on our network. So we came up with basically a cycle of products: A, B, C, D: analyze, bridge, channel, and diagnose. So there are 4 products. Once we educate the brand about the marketplace through the analyze report, the bridge is basically running a pilot campaign online. That pilot campaign could just focus on a tiny geographical area. It could have a limited time span, but it will feed back to the client very valuable information on how consumers are responding to the messages and to the products that the brand is trying to execute. And then after that, we have a channel product, which is basically advertising. So that is for the brands that are already into the market and they are already spending money on the market. And then finally, the product called Diagnose, which is completely automated. It's just kind of like an online account that we sell to the brands, where they could tap into our social media analysis system, which is proprietary. No one one in the world can actually analyze Muslim online conversations except our company. You can analyze general online conversations, but zone in on just Muslim online conversations and find out what Muslim consumers want. That is something that we've had to build ourselves because we needed it for our clients. So we basically, even for the brands that are not buying anything from us, they already know the market, so there's no analyze. They have executed pilots, so they don't need bridge, and they are maybe using offline advertising or maybe focusing on a geographical area where we are not active. Even for clients that are that much deep into the marketplace, we still have a product to sell to them, which is, hey, why don't you monitor how your brand is doing in this marketplace? It's very, very tough to kind of just put a label on it, because it's kind of like, look, if you look at, for example, the WPP acquisitions last year, they were companies that were actually a hybrid of advertising networks as well as kind of like agencies, you know. So they basically controlled both the aspect of planning a campaign and delivering it on other media that they didn't own, but some of them leveraged also media that they owned. And I believe that we are kind of like the next generation of agency that both own some channels, but we then realize that, okay, we have two strategies here. We could either build a walled garden, try to get every Muslim online, which our company estimates at around 250 million online, to basically come and use Muxlim.com, or we can tap into the channels where they are already active. So there are lots of special interest sites around the world that the community is active in. And many of them are like I was back in 2006, just kind of like a hobby project. A guy who's passionate about the site, he builds it, he has a lot of traffic, but he has, you know, he doesn't have a business plan, he doesn't have a sales force, etc. But he has very valuable traffic that we can tap into. So we started building this network where we don't necessarily have to own the properties, but as long as we have exclusive rights to place advertising on them, that puts us in a very powerful position, because then we can also kind of control. I mean, with time, this will of course level out as any market when more and more competitors come and start emerging. Even I believe that some of the mainstream networks will actually start stepping into the multicultural territory. You know, not because it's like something that is hard or anything, because it is not rocket science, but just because the opportunity is actually really, really lucrative. So we will basically be able to you know, Coca-Cola can come and say, guys, we want to reach as many Muslims as you can. How many can you reach? And we can say, we reach 25 million Muslims every year. Not all of them are through Muxlim.com, but as long as we can deliver them, and as long as we can pull data and pull analysis about all of those consumers and how they've interacted with that content or those campaigns, our clients are happy. So we were very, very happy that, first of all, last year we have attracted a very, very seasoned Fortune 500 executive to lead our efforts in the US. So he has 20 years of experience under his belt doing media buying in multicultural for large Fortune companies. He was Senior Vice President of Marketing, and he not only has the understanding of what happens on the agency side when they're actually planning campaigns and distributing the budgets of their clients, but he also has the knowledge of the decision-making process from the buying side, the millions of budgets that are being spent by the Fortune 500 companies. So he was a great asset to actually come and join our company. And 6 months after he actually joined, and we started to do active sales in the US, and our prospect list, open Fortune magazine, Fortune 500. These are the clients that we really want to attract. So what's in store for us this year is to basically continue to try to persuade some of these Fortune companies to look at this market seriously. 3% of companies in the US actually have an active multicultural campaign. So even multicultural, not just Muslim, is actually not mainstream yet. So we believe that this will heat up over time, because the top 10 cities in the US are actually minority majority. So the numbers speak for themselves, and multicultural is really starting to heat up. So we want to attract attract some Fortune 500 companies to work with us. It doesn't mean that we are not closing deals with smaller companies, because we have. In the first month of 2011, we actually broke our revenue of 2010 already. So things are going well, even with medium-sized clients, but that is not our aspiration. We really want to crack the Fortune 500, because that will open up, well, it will basically transform our company to a whole new league, and this is where our aspirations are. Well, what can I tell you, Auntie? I think when you ride a wave, that, you know, when the world needs the product that you are making, or when the world kind of, the world is very, very imperfect, and there is lots of trends that are hot, and if you just happen to be at the eye of the storm when some trend is really, really buzzing, you suddenly get on the radar of some of the hottest and some of the largest conferences around the world. So this is how. It is not necessarily that we are, you know, geniuses or anything like that. It's just that being in the right place in the right time, aligning your startup, which, by the way, I was an engineer. I was the one who coded and designed the website in the very beginning. But immediately when I became a startup entrepreneur, I realized that sticking to my comfort zone and just writing good code and designing good product, it's great because it got me here, but the skill set that I need to build now in order to transform myself and my startup to the next level is something completely different. And once you learn that, I believe an important part of it is how to get attention for your startup and your products. You almost have to create an alternate reality. You almost have to create a galaxy in the minds of the people exposed to your startup, where your product is the center of that galaxy, and all eyes should be on you, because you are solving a very, very aching problem for the world. And if you kind of position your message that way, it becomes much easier to get attention. So I really don't have a secret formula. It's just being in the right place in the right time and positioning your startup and your idea in the right way. Well, I believe that the best opportunities in life, the ones that give me the most joy and the ones that I'm most proud of, were right at the intersection of extreme hard work and luck. That is important as well.